G'day guys, welcome back. Just popping my gloves on. Right, I am going to do a wondering ring pour, well actually not a ring pour, just a wondering pour for you today. My mix is my 3 parts Floetrol, 2 parts PVA glue, 1 part pouring medium and 1/4 part of water. And I've mixed that pouring medium, 2 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint, which I've got here in the back. I've got some navy up here, which is my deep space. And then I've got some turquoise, which this one's peacock. And this one is cool blue. And then the warm colours here, we have warm red and warm yellow and some white. So no silicone oil in these. I'm going to layer 3 times in the cup. So a little bit of white. I'm just going to pour it in down the sides. So not as much paint as I would normally, because I want to get 3 layers out of these if I can. So I put the 2 warms together. Now I'll put the cools next to each other. Whoops, nearly spilled. And the turquoise. Oops, hopefully I'm not using too much and I'll have enough for 3 layers. My navy. Back to the white. I don't want a lot of white in the pour. White tends to dilute all the colours, doesn't it? Okay, I think I've got enough. Yes, I've got enough for another layer. Let's see what it looks like with 3 layers, because normally I only do 2 and I get very big blocks of colour. So let's try with 3 and see how that goes. Whoops, sticking to me. There's glue in the mix, so it's a bit sticky. Okay, back to the white, and this is the 3rd layer. There's a little bit of white left. Now I can use up all what I've got left over in my cups. I don't even, see, this might be enough, too much paint, I don't really know. I just threw paint together. I wasn't even calculating how much I needed for this. That's the yellow done. Clean my hands. There we are, I only need 1 cup. I'm going to pour 1 cup anyway and see what it looks like. And then if I need to, I can add the second one to it. But maybe I can get 2 pours out of this, eh? Because with the ring pour, sometimes you don't want to have too much paint and then have to tilt it off. You're better off having a little bit less paint and keeping your design rather than tilting it too much and losing your design over the edges. Just something to think about. I don't even know how much paint I've got. These cups, these ones, I think they hold 350 mils. Let me have a look at one of them. Yeah, it says on the bottom 350 mils. So it is a bit different in grams though. Like mils is not the same as grams. Okay, that'll do. I'm not going to put the white in on top because I want to save a little bit of white for my corners if I need it. That looks so pretty, look at that. It's like a little rainbow happening in there. So I'm going to tilt this up a bit, throw that under just to hold it up. Oh, this is making shadows. Let's move everything out of the way so we're not shadowing. There we go. You can go up there out of the way. May use you later. Okay. Now, I don't want to do rings. Okay, so had a little bit of a mishap there. Ran out of memory. So I got about 5 minutes in. I hadn't actually started the pour. I just made up my cups of paint. I poured the other one. I did the pour. Went to look back on it. Run out of memory. So I only got the first little bit. This is how it turned out. It's really pretty. So I'm really upset that I didn't get to show you the making of it, but there it is there. I'm going to go again now with my second cup. So I've just taken this off its little tray and put it on some paper, greaseproof paper to dry, and I'm going to pop it over here out of the way. Alright, let's go with the second one. I've deleted a couple of other videos, so I should have plenty of space. Righty-o. Now, the first one, I just went up and down right up here. This one I'm actually going to wander the paint down. Do a wandering pour and let it come down. So, here we go. And this one I don't have on an angle, like I did with the other one. Whoops, trying to stay straight. Looks easier than it is, trying to stay straight. Right, well I've got to the end and I've used up all my paint, so there's a bit left in there. But yeah, I don't want to put any more on. It could be interesting to put a strip down there and a strip down there, couldn't it? But it's going to be quite muddy, that little section there. So I'll just work with what I've got. Probably should have gone a bit slower. Love this up here. As it gets further down and it's been shooken around like that, is shooken a word? It does get a little bit muddier. So yeah, the bottom section's always a little bit muddier, but let's just see how we go. So basically all I need to do is just tilt up and back. Hopefully, cross fingers, I've got enough paint on the surface that I can do that. I'm going to get rid of some of this orange up here because there's a lot of it. But let's just see what happens when I start to tilt. I have got a little bit of white here that I can put down just in case I don't have enough paint to cover the surface. Then at least I'll have something to show for it, eh? Maybe not exactly what I want, but it'll be something to show for it. So let's put some white strips down here. I think I put too much on. Alright, there we go. Smooth it out a little bit. Okay. Right, let's tilt. Now we'll have to go down towards that corner a little bit as well. Get the weight of the paint down there. Don't want to lose too much of the top though, because I like that orange in there with the white, so I don't want to get rid of all of that if I can possibly help it. Okay. Would have been nice to have all that paint on the surface, wouldn't it? I think I would have been happier using all of it, but it just did not happen that way. We needed to pour a little bit slower to get all the paint out of the cup. But you just don't know these things until you have a go. Righto, let's get to the other side. So it's stretching quite a lot. Hopefully I've got enough paint. Going to go up on a bit of an angle to get to the corner. Come on, paint. I think I can. I think I can. I'll leave a little bit of white, as I've done with the other side, just so that that balances. Okay, and now down. Shell. Tip it towards you. Hey, how's that? Straight down. As I said, there's not much paint left on the surface. It's going really, really slowly. So I might not have enough to cover what I need to cover. There's a lot of paint here, so let's do that corner first because I can see the weight of the paint there. It wants to go that way, so let's help it. Help it along over that corner. Okay, that's got that one. Now, this is going to be tricky. Do we have enough paint to get to that other corner? We'll just make it enough, hey? I better hang on to this, otherwise I'm going to tip it right off. Come on, paint. Stretch. Off you go. I'm liking the top half, this bit here, more than this bit. This is a bit muddier. And this is why I tend to do 2 cups so that I can get fresh paint again. So I'm going to do this again. I know, I go over and over, don't I? Do it again, and go back to my 2 cups, and go a bit slower, pour slower so that I can get more of the paint out. Try and use all the paint up, and then I won't have to stretch it so much. Amazingly, it still looks really pretty, even though I've stretched it so much. Now I'm just going to try and center it a little bit. Slowly, slowly. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just tilting. Okay. How's that? That's okay, isn't it? Does that look pretty? It's got 4 little white corners, so that's okay. Let's see if I can pick it up and run my finger under there just to clean that off. Okay. I do like doing these sorts of pours. I think that's, you get a really pretty effect. And I just have to touch up these corners here where I've put my fingers in it. There we go. Don't mind those little white corners there at all. Just change that so it's kind of matching a little bit. Oops, you're a bit messy. Run off. Run off. There we go. Run that off. Okay. What do you think? I like it. I do. Quick torch. Not that it needs it. stretched all the bubbles right out of it. But can you see the difference how here the colours are nice and bright, and then down here where they've blended more, they've got a little bit more muddy. I really like this orange. So 2 cups next time. And then I'll pour one, stop halfway, pour the other one, and then I should get 2 lots like this, which are much brighter than having the muddier look. But in saying that, also if I'd used more paint, if I hadn't have got to the end and still had half a cup of paint, I probably would have it looking a little bit better. Now I've got this little bit of scrap paper. Shall we use this little bit of scrap paper? Let me move this out of the way. Put it onto a piece of greaseproof paper. I'll just take you in for a close-up so that you can see that one. It is quite gorgeous. I'm really happy with it. Gorgeous little creature that it is. There we go. So I'll just move it out of the way, and then I might just for fun, just because I've got that extra paint. I know it's gonna be all muddy and awful, but let's just tip it out anyway. Put this somewhere safe to dry. Out of the way. Oops. I'll pick it up. Alright, here we go. Pop you down there. Okay. Now, as I said, let's just use this. I know it's muddy and it's yucky, and let's just use it, hey? I hate wasting paint. Oh, look at that. Can I just leave it like that? Do I have to tilt it? Oh my goodness. How pretty. Looks like some kind of weird sea creature. Hey, how pretty is that? Let's just leave it. No, can't do. Can't do. Well, that's what I need to do. I need to have less paint in the cup, get really close to the surface, because when you're up high, your paint sort of wobbles like that, whereas if you get closer, you've got more control over it. All right, now let's see what we can do with this. What shall we do with it? Let's put a bit of white on here. It's great just playing with your leftovers, isn't it? I would have probably just scrapped that paint, put it in the bin. But if we can learn something from it, why not? Why not have a play? Okay. Now I don't use all this. If I can't spread it all out, I'll just have a white edge. Won't matter, just for the fun of it, just to see what's going to happen. I need my other little tool, the one that's flat. It'll do a much better job than this half-hearted job that I'm doing. Here. There's always a right tool for a right job, isn't there? And this is it. These little spatulas are great. I've got them in different sizes. Come in very handy. Alright, let's do this. My weird little sea creature. There's its head, there's its tail. Swim, swim. Let's go off to the corner. really want that to go over the edge because I like that bit of feathering that's there. I don't want to lose that. So it can just be an unusual little weird paw, hey? Why not? Come back to the middle. Take the weight down. Off to the side again. See if we can get down to that corner. Whoa! Alright, I'll hang on to you. There we go. Oh look, it's gone over the corner now, over the edge. Wasn't planning for that to happen. Because now I've lost my little feathering there on the side. This is just a really weird little paw, isn't it? Just a weird little paw. Leftovers. Come back. I'm just playing now. I don't expect it to be anything beautiful. Take that blue over there. A little bit further over the edge. Okay, and stop. That'll do. A weird little paw. Okay. There you go. All done. Used up my paint. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Hope you enjoyed my proper paw, not the little baby paw. And I'll see you for the next video. Bye for now.